People coming back, they love it. There should be a 30-second delay.
This I wrote listening to some Bach organ music. I just sat down and wrote whatever came to mind. And this is what emerged. The Black Rose. The black rose of breath creeps in, assuring one more day of sin. In God's illuminated universe, the stars are tiny recollections, motivations for the peril of passing days. And we, that long cacophony of being, come from dark to light, from night to dawn, living strong from the cover of sleep. The heartbeat keeps surveillance here beneath the feet of clouds. A loud organ sound rallies down the street where early risers meet to speak of hail and sundry things. The black rose of breathing trumpets, the cluster of the light gone when night has folded into garden's delight, aromas are passing commingling with the air. The music touches magic there where safety sits amused upon the shelf where pen and paper shadow in the corner of the hearth. The black rose breathes a sudden start from windows, peaceful in the hug of pious night, the piety of high society attributes this to frightened eyes. But life is grand and tolerates no surprise. The black rose and the silver lily consider silly all might be despised. For why are we not in cities of despair, where gangling joy was waiting to be going, and every girl and boy are pleasant in the night, in the light? Thus the red rose exhales its golden breath. Thus the light comes morning with what's left. Withholding night, withholding silent sighs, those silent prayers sings amens to the skies.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob. Come back. I haven't seen you in a while. All right. Stephanie Manning, the donator of many a magazine to the fund of giving away books. Take the mic in hand. Give a nice round, please. Warm it up out there, and there's a whole world outside.
Hello, everybody. This is called Frankenstein's Lab. The dead, laid out on gurneys, beakers of fluid bubble, heating and cooling. Crouched over one body, the grizzled old doctor works. Tonight's the night things will happen. Determination drives the doctor. He steps astride a bicycle generator and pedals faster and faster. Soon sparks arc and shoot from generator to the body on the gurney. Faster, faster, faster. At last, fully charged, the socialist creature comes to life. She slowly rises to greet the dawn. Solar collectors like epaulets grace her shoulders, her wings, and from her belt, washable cloth recycle string bags hang. She is beautiful. Her body commences to absorb much of the carbon of the world. Her appetite for pollution is insatiable. She pushes out into the world, sucking up all the vile, evil things, and proceeds to eradicate oil company executives, conservatives that take food stamps from poor people, multinational corporate executives, armies that exploit children, gun nuts, and especially polluters, the ones who destroy habitat for all creatures, for all time. Gone are the days of cynicism and despair. Here comes a ray of hope, a radioactivity-loving ray, the Frankenstein ray. This one's called The First Rain. The first rain is the rain that my new cat sees for the first time. She sits in my arms and stares at it, not sure what to make of it. The first rain is a shock to the parched ground. The water beads up and sizzles like some chemical experiment. The first rain just before the equinox comes to us like some benighted gift we weren't expecting and not sure we want. We need it, but we do not want it. We wonder when it will stop, are sad to see the summer really end and the rainy times begin. Glasses blur, hair and clothes get soaked, umbrellas and puddles appear. Well, we say, we need it. And we practice patience, good Californians do. They say this year we'll have a lot of rain and snow. Who knows where it will end? And although we are skeptical, we do not wish to make false predictions. After all, nothing could be as bad as the Colorado floods this year, 2013. And despite our big late summer fires and occasional destructive earthquakes, we feel guilty that we have it so good while others suffer. Nothing egalitarian about that. And so we will suffer whether by natural phenomena or by our own determination. Like Reformed Gnostics returning to St. Francis, seeking safe passage to the eternal life, we slide on past our guilt beyond the shock of the first rain and on into the season of tenuous patience, self-piteously alone or in the dysfunctional company of others. The only salvation is the winter solstice, art, music, literature, and poetry.
Oh, really good.
A little bit on the block and see if it's coming.
Okay, great.
You're on.
Apparently we have been streaming. He was
You are
working on
streaming.
that. We are streaming now. In case you're dreaming, you'll be streaming as well. Thank you, Stephanie. Now let me get to this here. Okay, Matt. Matt. I can't read the last name. My eyes are bad. Cantor. I know a cantor.
Yeah?
Good.
Now you know another one.
I know two cantors.
Right on.
But they're not cantors, they're cantors. All right.
Howdy.
This is his first time here.
Thanks very much. Look, you got a good mic and you got a good light source. And I walked back and I got my reading glasses. So I have no idea what the policy is. Is it a home or two?
About 5 minutes-ish. The clock is here, so you can keep an eye on it if you so desire.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Okay. The dark-eyed boy squints into the sun, the ball hurling toward him, the father smiling, fulfilled. Seasons are less pressing now. Springtime sheets cover winter hotel beds. Smooth bodies, cool prayers invoke endocrinal midnights. Crocuses learn to speak, bend upward, and ask us to discourse. Our lives, our liquid lives, thaw in the moonlight and jiggle like string theory, stripping and bonding, replicating new strands. The conqueror wears his other face today. She wrings hands and feet, dishes peeling, and rubs the sink raw, her stigmata oozing. How we get lost in the middle of these upraisings, these industries of imperial issue. She breaks and crumples herself at this altar, uttering words whose meanings evaporate on her tongue. This has a taste. The young princes and duchesses grimace reticent, wishing that they could run in the night, nasally ejecting sodas and rolling down the grass into darkness. When did we forget our own gardenia nights? The mirth upwelling, the empty chest that cannot find air for seizures of detonative laughter. Under your neck is a special place for my face, dark and sweet. Each taste and stroke of warm skin sings limbic tunes of distant rock and roll. The sun rises again, early this time. The quiet of the house, the folded laundry, the lover's message waiting to be read, and new blood grows in the marrow, deep in the bone. Our natures do not evolve in parallel, emerging plant-like
sitting here. He'll be back.
or as mineral in disregard of the wishes or comportments of the other. Last night you were gushing hormone, blood and sweat as the night vainly blew cool over your fugitive skin. You fell bleeding as prey, carnal and pretty with bows, smelling of gardenia as I sat growing new branches and forcing large poisonous flowers from 1,000 limbs. Today, I sit crystalline, deep in replicating sheaths of vibrating amber planes of translucent emotion and desire, safe and glacial, though thoughts of you cannot repel or resolve or be resolved by these electron fences. Tears weep neatly out along molecular sheets of me, evaporating as ions in the air. Later, as you lie, growing vines across soft sheets, out the window and down to the lawn to drink the moon, I crouch, heaving muscle and leaking fluid, strained and torn. Now I cannot contain myself, having drunk some rotting adolescence, some crass desire, full of tears and begging and plead. Is there a love between these alien morpholine selves? Can the earth love the falling flowers that anoint it, and they in return? Were we two clouds becoming one, would we know how much we each longed to sleep together entwined?
I'll read a couple of haiku.
There you go. That's why they're good.
Exactly.
How adult is this one? Oh, this is not adult. 1,000 butterflies alight together as you. Smiling, they flutter. I'll let it go. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you. Good job. Matt. Thank you. Matt Cantor. All right. So let's see. That gives us, the next 5. We have Tom Holberg, Owen Dunkel, Jonathan, myself, Jack O'Neill before the feature of the evening. So Tom Holberg will kindly arrive at the speaking podium, the invisible podium, and provide us with a large sample of his humor, wit, and wisdom.
Okay. You can decide which of those 3 he wants to provide you.
All right.
Hi there, my name is Tom Holberg, and once again I'm glad to be with you. And thank you for your
Inspiration.
Yeah, right. I keep forgetting that word. No, I don't. Okay. Yeah, I got a little lucky, and I brought us an audience member this evening, so we have at least a couple of non-poets here. Yeah, an appreciative audience member named Pam. Say hello to Pam there. Okay. So I'll start out with my theme poem. It's been my theme poem for a long time, called Flicker Flame. Flicker flame. Put some lightness in love. Laugh a little. Love is not dark, but that's where it happens a lot. You remember that one? Yeah, me too. I read this a couple times ago, but I want to read it again. It's called coup de foudre. And coup de foudre means struck by lightning in French. And a man says, very casually, yet all of a sudden he said, I would rather enjoy a gentle rain than a coup de foudre. The woman by his side said, you silly man, nobody ever said that to me before. She pinched his cheek. coup de foudre is like when you fall in love all of a sudden. That's struck by lightning. You kind of get it a little better now? French people use that. Read again? Okay, coup de foudre, struck by lightning. It's like, you know, when you see somebody across the room, you have this coup de foudre, and that's what they say in France.
No, you can sit here.
Yeah. Very casually, yet all of a sudden, he said, I would rather enjoy a gentle rain than a coup de foudre. The woman by his side said, You silly man, no one ever said that to me before. She pinched his cheek. Oh, there you go. Okay. It's a love poem. It's called Hate. Hate. Hate is love we did not know what to do with. Or we gave it to someone and they put it in the wastebasket. Now that's a point for you. She said, don't you dare put words in my mouth, especially those big ones. They make me gag. He thought she was perfect. Then, one day, he discovered a rather ugly blemish on her hidden cheek. Oh my God, now I can live with her. Well, that's all.
Thank you, Tom Hallbar.
Love the levity.
All right, we have Owen Dunkel, then Jonathan, myself, Jack, and then our teacher who is hopefully on the way. We shall see what happens there. Thank you, Tom, and give Owen a round.
I'll try to speak up for people who say they can't hear me, and who said they can't hear me. Okay, this is my latest poem. At the sand, in the white curls of foam and splendor, I beg a metaphor to pity the wind, or telling its secrets to the warping rays of the sunset. I beg a new poem, the mustachio of a metaphor. Trieste at midnight. The sun has been at it all day. It has been a San Francisco way. A little bit like a debate, like the Trieste at twilight. One patron tells the other, shut your fucking mouth. It did take place there. Yeah. The Prince and the Queen. Lost cause. Monday morning sun breaks bread on a lost star of gloom. Last and least, I, the struggling poet. Lost and last in the neighborhood of tech and math. The math of computers reminds me of Babalu in the distance. Babalu, lost way back in the 50s. Lucy, the wisecracking redhead. Desi, the slick-back, racy-haired Cuban dancer and orchestra leader. I, a lost cause. This poem, a lost cause. Much like the laughing Prince Charles and the Queen Mum, laughing aloud and saying, ha ha, you are poor.
Which is one in the world. It says that a lot.
September sonnet at Starbucks. That round ball the mad sun has done to its duty. The day is warm. I'm about as imaginative as a shoe in a store window. I should buy one before a riot of language tries to reach out for lost winds of well-being. No, the ability to buy a shoe is something that is before me. And I take it for granted, much as I take a sunny day for granted, until it's winter and I am freezing like a well-fed ant that has had enough. Just barely enough brains to follow the herd and help drag a cornflake 5 feet before a big hobnail boot steps on it, and I blurt and squeak a poem to myself. A half-sad poem at Starbucks on a Sunday from an Angelino. Early arise each morning on the sharp cold air. How must I fare around as I am with such as these? The air does nothing here. The wind is as cold as an icicle. It has no majesty or love. The coffee is not something for dreamers. Poetry surely must be something for dreamers. Surely it is as dreamers do, but not as far north, the far north of the mind, the far north of the spirit, the San Francisco that is cold as a bell, like a bill from the bell collectors. Not billette, but bell collectors. The bell collectors, the dark bars where gloom and despair greet you like people who expected to go to hell. And how do you get your choice? The Niners or the Rams, the Warriors and the Lakers, the Giants or the Dodgers. Laughing at my own jokes. Rock shore. Static sky, the slate of sky at the beach, the mouth of the sea of the big seabirds, the seagulls, one white and gray, the other all gray. Look at the peaceful sea. All look at me as though I were to be filled up at once with a tremendous chaos to answer the elegance of the shoreline. There are freighters so quiet and mellow, the puffy cumulus clouds upon the lazy horizon. Spartan sonnet. Dazed in the sunset, shades has half convinced me that invisible chains exist. Stories of hatred and naked betrayal. I sit in a stupor of amazement and non-amusement. It's as if I am stuck to my chair. And someone has said that I should stick like glue to a chair. At the beach, I received an icy sunburn. The Spartan wind, the severe sand, the icy lace of the waves that swing and roar at the water's throat. The tiny waves of the sand a smooth finish. I turn my head and call out to silence. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Like Jonathan and myself and Jack and our teacher, which I'm worried about, but that's not his concern at the moment.
I have known a few people here in the city. There was a guy standing in a doorway in the Haight-Ashbury, and he looked out of place. And I walked up to him and said, "What do you do?" Pulled out a badge, and he was a cop. Well, we talked a while, and we found out that we have more in common than humanity. He was half Finn, half Belgian. I'm half Finn, half German. And, well, he gave up being a cop and became the sheriff of San Francisco. Then, after being sheriff for 8 years, he went to Cleveland, was chief of police. Then he went to New York and was commissioner of prisons of the state. Warden of the warden, another word. Then he came back and was a member of the board of supervisors. He ran for mayor a couple of times and never quite made it. And then he ran for assessor. And he was assessor for about 3 years. And a mayor who happened to be an ex-police chief made him chief of police. And I rode in the front seat of the chief of police car. He had 4 radios for all of San Francisco. And his name was Gertrude Stein. And I knew a black guy that was a member of the board, and then he was the mayor. And he bought his clothes on Sutter Street. And I've known writers, poets, bookstore owners, some of which endorsed me as a writer. It sure did a lot of good. Look at where I am today.
You made it, Jonathan.
You're doing all right, Jonathan.
Yeah. I mean, you know, got a pulse, everything else under the sun underneath.
So as promised, I'm here now for you testifying.
There he is. That big green.
You know, this is David Brady testifying before your very astonished eyes.
Number 3.
Thank you. I was going to ask for a number, but she says 3. Okay, so I'm going to do short pieces here this evening just for you. This poem was originally published by Greenpeace magazine, but they didn't like the title because the title was The Art of Whaling, and they didn't like that title. I meant whaling as an art in terms of how a whale wails, but they was thinking of whaling.
How about Marco Harp's Wales is Harmonic?
Thank you. All right, so this is called Whaling. It comes in sea swells, graceful and slow. It likes to turn and roll gently as it moves through the water in migrations that circulate with the oceans, curving with the earth. Their swims cover thousands of miles that even the youngest make just after they're hardly born. Their broad mouths smile with the sea, and their eyes are quiet, pensive, and slow. They echo whistling queries across the broad gray ocean floors, and in turn question the answers in casual conversation. They travel with the wind, the ocean's current and tide, touched by the moon on their backs, water silver radiations of their spine. These creatures are touched more by the moon than we, and their hearts are big enough to sleep in. It's not a short one, I gotta find a short one here. She said short, so I'm not very short. Politics. Coverage. From our heartland, fields of corn and green wheat outside his window and near the high school, Small town boy, now man, proud to serve. Stand up guy, open doors, prayerful and kind. He went to another world, a dusty, gray and dying land. It was just another day. It was an abandoned pomegranate grove. In the photo, his blue eyes searched the sky. Huddled over his shredded legs, they told him, "You'll make it. It's okay. Look at me. Look at me." And it was this story about him, the long delay in its download due to the advertisement for a new car. The dust whipped up, a helicopter's shadow, its stark silhouette. It will take him to where he will die. And that one photograph they each paused to look at on their cell phones, his final moment, is the one photograph no one will see because no one will risk publishing. On Labor Day, in one town, one family has questions for the president. Okay, so this is for those metaphysical people. It's called You Say. You say you are searching, that you cannot find it. You say you are lost. Listen, grasshopper, love is not a battleground where the bleeding losers are left strewn about to beckon for death's welcoming rap, longing for a final gentle word or touch from God. And I do not serve the angels. They have just about everything they need by now. But as for you, aching in mind, body, or soul, who have the acquired taste for love, the thirst that seemingly draws one out of one's mind, I'll tell you what. You can find it simply enough. Go, give nourishment to all tender beings, feed every wide mouth, quench all thirst for love, and love as you would be loved right where you are. Let your happiness wander no more. No matter where you go and be requited, let your beautiful lips and supple, passionate flesh open sweetly to all the love that you can imagine. Yield to its want and disseminate all those vital gifts you have upon this magnificent world of ours. Thank you. I want him up here under this next reader. The next reader is Jack O'Neill. He's coming up here now. Give him a nice round. Warm it up. Jack O'Neill. And I'll get the microphone attuned to him.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It's really nice to be here after a while. And see you.
Welcome
and
back.
hear you. Thank you. The first couple are from the state of Washington, where I was last month for a while. This is called the New Millennium. We are all nomads now, gathering mostly, and needing a traveling group for the nest group. One campfire sometimes, mostly several. Before going on, I sit in the middle of my life, my world, and face the collected goods stacked before me, our life. I will rise and strap it all to 2 camels. On clear nights of the full moon, we travel all the night and sleep all the day. Such blessings are appreciated every time and new, and the sleep is good. And it was cool to hear you say about a test, Dan. At a music workshop in August, we had to play for the teacher stuff that we prepared, and one of the students was nervous, and the teacher said, "Don't worry, it's not a test, it's just an exam." So this is not a test, an exam. So, What is a poem? It's the answer when there is no question. The correct answer when the wrong answer is just as good. And a poem is a dream shared by all, including those who've never dreamed, or read of one, or heard of one, or read a word of one, or heard a word of one, because water is like that. And salt water becomes so many things, like the electricity we need. And this one is called Thank You. I stand on the bridge looking at the stream running underneath. The water is clear and sings on the rocks. Mortality. I collect water in a humidor, salted away for recess and swinging, and why we rock babies to teach them that the world is round. And this will be the last one. Oh, we feed the gods when they come. Who would not give of what they have, this blessing more than sharing? For the stark, unobserved, unadorned powers of the places grow rougher and more savage when not humanified. And we don't even ask if they like polka dots and stripes, for they never eat what we provide. They have no mouths, speaking from the heart and not the throat. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
All right, a painful announcement. Apparently there's been some mix-up because Pam is not here as of yet, unless... Oh, there she is. Your timing is perfect. Pam, do you want to get a moment to calm down and get ready because...
No, I don't give a shit.
Okay, she's brave. She just gets here like this and she's ready to go. I was about to say, I don't know what we're going to do.
I'm sorry, I got lost.
Really?
They really did. The 5 Fulton does not take you to Hayes.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
But you're here, so let me give a few words about this young individual over here, Pam Benjamin. They call her Pam-tastic. That's one of her nicknames, of her many nicknames, and it's apropos, as you will soon see. She's known for Mutiny Radio, right?
Yeah.
She is there. She streams live, has been doing that for a few years. She's known in the comedy scene in San Francisco, the alternate comedy scene. And her poetry is wunderbar, wunderbar. And she's smiling. She's ready. We'll have her up here. Give her a huge round of applause. She got lost. She made it here. Thank you, the wonderful Pamela. Thank you so much.
Yay, Dan Brady. Yay, yay, all you guys. This is a huge audience. I'm a comedian, so this is a huge audience, like as a comedian. But this is the funny thing. I'm not going to do comedy. I'm actually going to read poetry. Because I do like to pretend that I'm a serious poet. On my spare time, I like to pretend I'm a serious poet. So this is my thesis. Yay! Oh my God, I'm so glad it's getting some airtime. Because it's like, you know, I just have little pieces of paper in my kitchen that make me feel good about myself. That's what graduate degrees are for. So, anyone who has one, it's pretty in your kitchen, isn't it nice? If friends come over, you're like, look at this. It's so pretty. It's got a little seal.
Curlicue words.
Curlicue words. And then you break out your thesis. You're like, read from my thesis now. You 23-year-old skateboarders don't really like this. But we're doing it anyway. This is the first, it opens, it's called About Poets. Please believe in poets. They are liars and bad learners, birds flying from the carcass of truth, retaining no opinions. They drown in a barrel of memory, adulterating the wine, poisoning wisdom with tender emotions. Phantoms and boastful pride. They know something of the shall be, these pitiful has-beens. They imagine the day after tomorrow and gaze far into the distant sea. With weary spirits growing tired of themselves, seeking infinite spectators, pearls strewn onto the sand. What about you, poet? You're a poet. Oh, the pearls. You're like, it's so hard when you think you have a pearl and you've birthed it, you've held it for so long and all that like dirt becomes like joy and you're like, this is so great, and you birthed that pearl. And then some hipster's like, eh. And you're like, oh. It was my soul pearl, bitch. Okay,
All right.
soul pearl. This is a poem called Concerning Things That Can Be Doubted. I do this thing called flarf. Is anybody familiar with the flarfism? Flarf is the badass fucking shit. I love it. So basically what you do is you look into the internet or you look into some other piece that's existed in time and you only use words from that piece, but you use your own poetic crafting to make it awesome. So this is Concerning Things That Can Be Doubted, which is from a Descartes treatise. So it makes me seem really smart, but it's really just that dude. Okay. So Concerning Things That Can Be Doubted. There is novelty in reflection, false opinions true, highly doubtful premises from uncertain times. I am misled by certain lunatics, befogged by bile, gold, and purple naked. Imagine heads of clay, bodies of glass, black vapors as kings, insane fools following. Oh, the plausible, quiet nights I have become accustomed to, drugged dreams in sleep, stretching a hand to careful matters. Bewilderment shaking the heads of sirens and satyrs, bizarre shapes in nature seen and composed and real. I am bound to confess universal truth more simple. There is no earth, no sky, no God as judge. Everything is uncertain. The card. You guys need to clap for your card. It's been around for like 500, 600 years. That's cool. Just everything.
Today's his birthday.
Is it really?
No, just.
Oh shit, that would be badass. I'd be like, oh, the mysteries of the universe finally come together. Speaking of mysteries of the universe, anybody love Trudy Stein? Anybody love Gertrude?
Yeah.
Like I do? Yeah. Oh. This was something I did. I was trying to I was like doing one of those witchcraft things where I'm like, I'm gonna pretend that I'm Gertrude Stein and I'm gonna write some shit. And this is the poem that came out, so I like it a lot. I really felt like I was channeling her. It was really a beautiful moment. Here we are in here, and we are open to be here, and open to be open, and to seek no open, no end, no decision, no cliff edge, cliffs ending, the edge of the continuous edge, the importance of the edge, the climax of the edge of why we do, the edge of the cliff of the climax, the if and the climax of the end of the now, the edge of the now, of the seeking, of the eking, seeking of the edge. There are patterns to these things if you choose to see. The fragment of the cliff, of the edge, of the seeking, of the and the and. The water is sad because the sky is sad. A meadow of blue vodka. It seems like it is enough. You're at a party and you just smoked some reefer and there's sounds from the ocean and there's sounds from the party. We know what those noises are. The I is ego with something else. I stand in infinite mirrors, light the infinite me, repeated ad infinitum. And what of the surge of the sea, so minimal, a minimal in my hands, in time. My time is yours, I want your time, I love my time, I want your time, it's okay. I will create a language with only one word, your name. I will say it over in time, over and again and again. guys, this is crazy. This is so different than comedy. Like, you guys are all actually listening, and I don't have to, like, I just have to, like, tell you what's already written, and then you like it. It's so weird. Like, usually in comedy, like, you have to be like me, like me. You guys are like, thank you for being here. This is called Commies. This was published by, in the SF Poems for Occupation by the, wonderful people, and I wish I could remember their names, but
Bobby Coleman and Virginia Bear.
Yeah, Bobby
Bear,
Coleman,
yes.
Virginia Bear, thank
It's a great thing. If you don't own it, please do. It's on the page in there somewhere. This is called Commies. What did Julius and Ethel get in trouble for? Surely you would know. Blacklisted and cracked down, consistent with the times. Do you know the times? Let's race oil out of a new country. The rugged individual, KO's community value. Little did we know corporations would become individuals, a perversion of the original. Let's take them to trial for murder.
Yes.
Capital punishment for the corporate individual. Frightening me into believing 1 and 1 is 3. My romantic idealism maps battle lines. A jagged cut, but clearly seen through my skin. My bleeding heart is real and stands in community. Socialism can live. Please let Obamacare happen. I don't know what's happening right now, but on the Facebooks, like everyone's like, Obamacare is bad, Obamacare is good, there's Obamacare. I'm like, can we just have access to free healthcare? Like, why do we have to talk? I mean, I think it's like, seems to be, it should be something we should all have. It's like, yay, SF. What do we all have? We have SF. Used to be called, I'm on it. And we all get it for free. Healthy SF. It's the model for everyone. Please, Healthy SF.
Good doctor.
Yeah. And they're great. Nothing good, everything good has happened to me from them. They found things inside me that I didn't know existed. Like, take it out. They're getting older. That's what happens. They're like, there's something wrong with your ovary. Write a poem about it. Take it outside of me. This is my last. Well, I'm not gonna get out of that. I've got better things. Things that were published. This is romantic. Okay, so there was a boy that, oh God, he broke my heart. He was a skateboarder, like a professional skateboarder. He was so hot. And so when he broke up with me, I was like, grr, but I got this poem published, so I was like, you're off the hook, dude, because I already got a poem published about you, so it's cool. So he lived in San Jose, so that'll give you a cue. This is called Boundary Issues. I went to a therapist today. He said I have boundary issues. I'm not good with maps, I said. Maps scare me. It's the boundaries. Squiggly lines dividing there from here. Culture is attracted to squiggles. Boring places are square. Kansas, for example. Ohio. San Jose. I'm not really sure if those places are square. I'm afraid of maps and try not to stare at all those flat lines of separation. Respect those lines. Call them borders. Now we have borders, you said. Straight lines between you and me, new separations cut on our map. These lines will blow away. Nudge, nudge. Wink, wink. I pretend deep into the morning when you talk in your sleep. I will not hear the don't. Fall in love with me. Fall in love with me. I have no boundaries. Can I get sexy now? Can I get sexy? Can I do sexy poems?
Please.
So this is a Flarfy poem called Art Rape, and it's all Flarf from Chuck Kinder's The Honeymooners. So I don't know if everybody knows that lovely fictional work, but I took words from that. So Art Rape. She fashioned herself a disturbance suit. Ideas stuck to her wrists like swarms of ants, licking her authenticity honey. Birds circled overhead and dipped their wings for a closer look, a taste of thought. But the people were bored. They had seen this trick before, this so-called, this creation, this derivative, this art. The people wouldn't buy it. They wanted blood and spectacle, public shame and deviant sex, tangerine horizons and dreadlocks and beards. lopsided normalcy and impossible beauty. She painted her chest in lipstick, smears of color on erect nipples, and the people cheered. They pushed her to the canvas and her legs spread so they could watch. I actually have rape jokes like in my comedy thing, but I'm like, it's feminism, it's rape jokes, it's funny. They're like, you guys are like, we're poets, we don't like rape jokes. It's okay. Only poems about rape. I actually have this little joke I do about where I say like, oh man, it was so weird moving from poetry to comedy because, you know, if I hear another poem about a girl's second abortion, I'm gonna like stab my eyes out with a pencil because, you know, I only use abortion, you know, I already fucked up my own punchline. I've only had 2 abortions, the third is just for comic effect. That's an abortion joke I have. This is a comic poem I wrote a long time ago called Zombies. Anybody recently seen all the zombies? Like, I wrote this in 2000.